being a poet is never, ever, ever about being able to refer back to the Harlem Renaissance poets or being able to name all the Shakespeares. Or it's not about what genre of poetry you do. It's also not about sounding like everyone else and trying to, again, conform to what people think poetry should look like. If you want to get on stage and just yell cuss words and then get off stage, do it. If you want to, even as a rapper or a singer, if you want to sing off tune and be like Ice JJ Fish and just sing the worst you possibly can, do it. The only thing that matters is that you're expressing something that you really want and need to express. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am the third oldest out of 10 siblings. There's 10 of us, so we used to like pack a whole church. If people usually don't let you speak in just a regular conversation, then you definitely can't talk about like social justice or anything like that and then listen to you. So just really finding an interesting format, just this rare format to where you can really speak on things you care about and having people not only hear you, but be inspired by you. City Garden is a piece about gang violence. Let's think about what we're doing here. So, roses are red and violets are blue. That's until those red roses provoke poses that make those violents have to get violent. See, no pardon from gardeners from other parts, just purple hearts and targets. Thrown darts and cold sparks is what made my concrete gardens get hardened. Transmit your pigment if you want and see how far you get. It's the paddle of the pedal that jump starts the battle of the metal. As a matter of fact, where you're laying right now, whether you were flat or you were settled, where you were born is where you were buried, and that is your barrow. No getting broken into being thorough. Don't deny the dishable truths connected to your roots. To let good is to let go. Your flower bed is a dumpster instead. This ain't the garden, this is the ghetto. But if it ain't a reference to God, then it's the devil. But on the inside, there probably is no God, just a Geppetto, iPod, and television channel. Our digital sentences desensitize our photosynthesis to the extent where no one mentions it. Leave it to weed and seed to show you what constriction is, where the weeds die of diseases so their seeds can't perceive what victor is and wisdom is. Replaced with them punk-ass trees that ain't even indigenous. Even then, the scrimmages was niggas that's killing over pigment. Niggas is ignorant, just like my nigga said. Red petal, blue petal, flower the same thing. So why do pupils of discrepancy have the necessity to gangbang? How can Mother Nature maintain when every other range gets gang slang and the range sings a song that sounds a lot like bang bang? Yes, roses are red and violets are blue, but pigs are pink and they got they clicks too. So no pardon for the badge wearing bitch who gets paid commiss to rip through my residentials. You wanna earn my respect, learn how to serve and protect. Run tell that to them niggas who convince you that you don't do the same thing. These Subaru's and Crips do, and Crown Vics with high sirens and bright lights that blindside us. That it is roses red and violets blue, suffocating brothers by getting cutthroat over covers, cloths and cloaks that serve as covers, massing the surreal stimulus of fact that when the roses and violets grow silent, the only color in them boxes is black. Roses are red, violets are blue, only for another cancerous collision to occur again, because two flowers can't see that they're a part of the same stem. So every rose has its thorn, every violent has its violent past, and its garden will never get any taller than its own grass. Roses are red, violets are blue, and if I was that colorblind, I'd be trying to kill you too. It scares me as an artist. I would have said going homeless, but then I went homeless and it wasn't as scary because it's just like, well, if I was in any other city, maybe, but I don't know, the only thing that scares me as an artist is that I end up being one of those pretentious artists that instead of really doing something that's actually sufficient and effective, just being like, well, I'll just get on the stage and write this book and be like, this is dedicated to blah, 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 when it probably really won't matter, you know, because nothing's being done about it. So I don't want to become a sellout, not even the activist sellout. I want to one day stop doing poetry. It's a mission. I want to turn around and live out the pieces that I write, or live out the passion that I have to write those pieces. I am most passionate about, I guess you would say, like stirring up controversy over things that people have got like desensitized about. For instance, I have a piece called, well, people call it Backslash. And it's a piece about the show First 48. And basically I just take the whole show and get people to realize that if it was like acting, if it was actors, it'd be a different thing. If you're into crime and things like that, cool, but these are like real deaths and we're using them for entertainment. You know, there's like first season, second season, so it's just like really getting people's eyes to open up and see like, why am I cultivating this? When it actually happens, be sure to keep the volume down. You don't want to ruin the theatrics. I wonder if it's ever been someone's dream to be on the opposite side of the screen on the opening scene of the first 48 hours. Let's watch carefully for neighborhood names on boxed set CVDs to see if we can see ours. For those who need to be stars, please bring flowers or be proud. It's not saying that in order to keep their grade A TV rating, we must begin slaying, just stating that in order to keep their grade A TV rating, they won't hesitate to devour us. Imagine all the mass hysteria. After all, people from bad areas with half intentions make rash decisions. We're trying to be part of a vast criteria. These bastards will crash the cemetery to think fast and say we didn't come up with the cash, but we'll give you the flash if you would have us to bury ya. I hope they never choose this city as a casting area. But while we're at it, what's your favorite episode? Pick one from amongst the threshold in which the hood life becomes a manifesto to death row. All it takes is that bag of crack in a matter of minutes before your young black family is diminished. Even then, those walls seem limitless because most of the time it's within our pigment. We call it statistics. They call it stats, states, current rates. Since we've allowed them to videotape the less fortunate reality, they've made a fortune off the season finale, so I know you watch it. My hopes is that this piece may actually overrun if it means it keeps you from catching the reruns of your friends and loved one getting candid by the gun. And the worst part about it is a death a day won't do. After all, it takes the two, so who does that make of you when you got that bullshit on pay-per-view? Nigga, take a clue. In this game, you can either entertained or screwed, or you can go for both. Whatever floats your boat, I hope you choke on that rope you so often soak some coke for. But my bad, this wasn't about the drug trade. This was my introductory to the plug trade, where you get to Skype and YouTube Lil Wayne so he can teach you how to do the thug thing, so that when you get slug slain, you have to post a tweet from hell saying, my tombstone. Backslash, tell me what you think. Backslash, listen to a beat. Backslash, killing over beef. Backslash, victim of the streets. Backslash, crack bags. Backslash, black folks still get backlash. You could get angry and crazy over a crack stash, but when you were 80s, baby, you can't help to be a little crazy because you was made over a crack stash. And your black ass, daddy left you chasing the cane and a fat ass, only to leave you with his last name and a crack bag. I wonder how many times HBO and Cinemax ass, how many souls gonna get capped for cash checks? How many shows gonna give blacks a bad rep? How many roles can we cast in caskets? How many roles can we cast in caskets? How many roles can we cast in caskets? After all, we think it's just a show. It's funny how yesterday's security surveillance has become tomorrow's HBO's A-list. After all, they think it's just a show, instead of showing a list of special guests. Haven't you noticed they've only been showing us a list of recent deaths? After all, they think it's just a show. I tell you what, let me know when another one of your niggas grow cold and hit the flow so we can come by and reschedule another episode. After all, you think it's just a show. Why would the revolution be televised when the destruction sells so much more? I don't want to say I was self-taught because I was doing poetry before. Like I would write little poems before, and I would like sell them in middle school and high school for like people who broke up or whatever. I remember I took one of these old pieces. I was like, oh, this is dope. It's gonna work out. And I did this old piece, and it was like extremely high school-esque, and like everybody could tell. And so I would really say anybody that I have seen on stage, as far as from 2010 on up, have basically taught me how to write. There's a spoken word artist by the name of January York. I refer to her as my big sister, and that is exactly what she is to me as far as poetry, personally, spiritually, everything. That's the person I look up to. She really has a way of making spoken word more than just sitting in front of a wall or sitting in front of an audience and saying something. She has a way of incorporating all ways of art and really digging into you, you know. A direct mentor, a man named Terry Otis from Chicago, Illinois. He lives in Austin, Texas now. He's a spoken word artist. He was a mentor as far as mentality, where to write from, not necessarily how to write. And the mentality was just as simple as spit forever. I'm really hoping to go from doing open mics and to doing conferences. You know, if I can do the inauguration, it'd be awesome. So, you know. If it was up to you, I'd only have 3 destinies: dreams, bus stops, and peanut butter. If it was up to you, my world would consist of generations that thrive off of wishful conversation, protein compensation, and public transportation. There's no wonder I don't think college is an obligation. You left the journey to my self-identity up to the people who did this to me. They'll talk about Martin Luther King with the utmost lousiest discrepancy, then begin to applaud so loud that it drowns out the rest of the questions left in me. Now my potential crown is in places, surrounded by faces of kings. Tut, Martin Luther, but then Rodney. This is when it becomes a modern day misogyny. I woke up from a set colorless concussion with the mentality that dreams never make it to reality. They just get beat in the street or catch buckshot from balcony. But wait, the teacher says peanut butter dishes are ethnically nutritious. What am I supposed to do with this shit? Another blissful blow to the head as I doze off to bed, off to another wonderfully whipped peanut butter wonderland where you stand, you are stuck. Tell me if I'm supposed to learn from supplements, except a life of settlement. Due to the desolence of our economic levels, we were going to write the president, but the teacher told us we were all dyslexic. So let's get reacquainted in our peanut butter pavements. Watch our supplemental demeanor shrink as we sink into our places. Now compared to other races, we're just a bunch of peanut-headed dream chasers. Dreaming and chasing and missing the bus on purpose to make a point, but that point got missed. Somewhere along those boycotts, our voice got ditched, and our future has been sitting on the bus stop since. Got no knowledge, don't want no college, constantly being caught up in the scholarship and not in the scheme that is as heavy as the peanut butter streams that chase me in my peanut butter dreams. You see, this is what they taught me. They saw out my indigo mind and they bought me. Socially sold me for my loyalty and then dropped me in your hands of responsibility. But you had more plans, so you dropped me off at the facility where they taught me the humility. I told my mom not to worry about me doing time. I've been institutionalized since I was 5, roaming the prison yard of kindergarten where we played when told, we ate when told. I had to go to sleep and wake when told. I was issued a uniform until I was 8 years old, and when I started a rebellion, it couldn't tell you if I was retarded or intelligent, but tell them that their teaching methods are a little lazy, and watch how quick they are to stamp your children crazy, seeding us, feeding us, teaching us what they want us to know, leading us where they want us to go. I'm talking about 525,600 minutes of talking about ships and boats, and only 28 to 29 of those days do we get a good nigga joke broken down into February's history. They got the nerve to call it African American history when it just so happens we impacted in every era of history. We were everywhere in history. So why was this such a mere mystery? When you were supposed to be my ancestry, you were supposed to have raised me, you were supposed to have trained me, you were supposed to be my bus catching, dream catching, cotton picking fantasy to help wake me, yet I still sleep. It's you that allows these schools to turn us into fools. But according to your agenda, I guess that's cool.